And we're back. How many skill tools do we have? 33. Excellent. We still got other shit to do, though. It's still nighttime. Okay, whatever. Now, I could become an adult right now, but there are other things that I want to do. Things that will make adulthood a little bit easier on us. And you know, it's metaphorical to how life works. You gotta do a bunch of things when you're a kid and you have no idea what you're doing or why you're doing it. You just need to know you have to do this to make your adult life easier. And if you don't do these things, your adulthood will be a living hell. It's the philosophical state about our everyday existence. Go, 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 go. Although, the game does get much harder as an adult, so a few extra heart containers wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. And generally speaking, the magic beans help you access heart pieces. We need 20 rupees or the Happy Mask salesman is going to freak the fuck out. So it might be wise to get those rupees now. Because you don't want the Happy Mask salesman to freak out. You really don't. Yeah, you sold it. Please pay me back 20 rupees for the skull mask. Yay. Which mask can I lend to you this time? Now, I wonder why only some of these masks came back in Majora's mask. Like, I mean, I don't know what they would have done with the creepy mask or the skull mask, but I'm just wondering why they didn't reuse it when they already had it. I mean, they reused the Keaton mask, the Goron, Zora, and the Mask of Truth. And I just wonder what their effects would be. It's one of those things I like to speculate about. Here's a fun thing to speculate. How much time do you think is spent on Hyrule Field in an average Ocarina of Time playthrough? Seriously, of all the items to not come back, why the Pegasus boots? Oh yeah, because we gotta make Epona as impressive as possible. Or maybe they just didn't realize that making worlds 3D would add this much size and scale to them. Because it looks like it just does take longer to walk from place to place than it would on a top-down game. You have for me. Yay, the Giant's Wallet. The thing I probably should have had since the beginning. I don't know why the limit is 500 and not 999 like it was in the last two games. Actually, I say... no, wait, the Oracle games came after. Yeah. Alright. Now we go... hello. Yeah. Most of the NPCs aren't very helpful. This isn't Majora's Mask where everyone's got, like, a backstory and relations and whatever. I'm gonna have a really fun time talking about Majora's Mask and showing off all the little nuances to it. Yay, and somehow the little kid is able to fully pay for the, creepy mask. Now, this would definitely be much easier to do, later on in the game after you get, the teleportation songs, or whatever. But I don't know, I just like doing this now. Because, essentially, I want the magic beans as soon as possible. And this is basically the quickest way to be able to afford the magic beans. And Navi is gonna keep nagging us to go to the Temple of Time. I really wish she wouldn't nag you so much at this particular juncture. Because I mean, I get why she's doing it. Like, if you save the game and you turn it off for a few days or whatever, it's very easy to forget what the fuck you were doing. I've had that problem myself playing many, many games. But, like, Navi constantly telling you what to do is kind of the other extreme. Not helping is the fact that I usually sit down and play Ocarina of Time with the intent to finish. And I usually complete it before moving on to any other games. But yeah, I will admit, there are plenty of times where I've gotten halfway through a game, something else caught my eye, and I went back to it, and I had no clue what the fuck I was doing or where I was going. Now, the Bunny Hood. In Majora's Mask, this essentially functions as the in-game Pegasus boots. Not so much here. Here, they actually do have a special effect, though. They will stop the skeletons from appearing in the field, which is why I usually like keeping this over the Mask of Truth. Even though the skeletons don't really bother me too much. But I guess that's your hint that the person you're supposed to find is somewhere in Hyrule Field. Because they only appear once you have the Bunny Hood. And the person is the runner or the postman from Majora's Mask. Someone who just runs endlessly around the field. Yeah, he starts here. I think you play the Sun Song twice to get him to stop. So he basically runs like all day and all night. And he can take fucking forever to find if you don't know where to look. Like I said, Hyrule Field is too damn big. Now, at some point, he's gonna stop running. You can't talk to him while he runs. It's just gonna keep running. Like, I don't know if this does anything, but that's my guess to his timer or whatever. So just keep trailing him, I guess. I would really like it to be daytime by the time I catch up to him. There we go. No! No! Okay, so I guess he parks it at night. People must be having a really fun time trying to get to sleep. Fucking pea-hats. I will admit, these enemies definitely got an improvement in 3D. In 2D, you just essentially had to wait for them to stop, which could take forever. Here, they have a weak spot underneath them. Anyway, he will fill up your wallet completely, which is why you want to get the Giant's wallets before taking on this guy. And we're at max. Now, I'm not going back to the Happy Mask salesman for quite some time. I'm going to spend this money wherever the fuck I want. I'll get to it, Navi. We have plenty of time. Like, plenty of time. Anyway, go in here. And one of the most valuable items in the game costs a nice, cozy 10 rupees. A piece of heart for 10 rupees. For reference, the shield cost me 40. There's a hole. Alright, now we're in the ass end of nowhere, and we need to get to Zora's River. I have to wonder, did not one playtester complain about this? Were they all just comfortable with this? I mean, I get it's impressive to see Hyrule imagined this large and this big. Maybe it is just one of those things that hasn't aged at all. Or that has aged horribly. And it was perfect at the time. That's unfortunately a lot of Ocarina of Time. A lot of it was fantastic for the time it came out, but standards have moved on. Like, if this game was released nowadays, like, if Ocarina of Time 3D wasn't a remake, I don't think it would have done very good. I mean, it's fun to play, but in terms of things like story and some of the gameplay mechanics and how the game is paced, that doesn't hold up very well. These are the super popular magic beans. They'll soon be sold out. Yeah. So now we have enough to buy the rest of them. This could be your last chance. We have the legendary magic beans. That's 80. And there's 90, and then there's 100. Do you want magic beans? Yeah. Do you want them? Huh? And then he eats the rest of them like fucking potato chips. I would imagine magic beans wouldn't be that snack-worthy. I'd imagine they taste something like peas. which I like peas, canned peas at least. Not so much the fresh peas, which I guess is the opposite of most people, but I like my peas mushy. But even them, they're not very, they don't have that potato chip quality. Anyway. In Kikikoro Village, there's something we need to do. Oh yeah, there's this fun, fantastic young man. People are disgusting. My own father and mother are disgusting. You must be disgusting too. That's just... The NPCs in Zelda are quite odd. And this is the game where they really start going forward with the weirdness. I mean, you could argue Link's Awakening, but that's kind of a dream, and that's kind of the point. This is supposedly Link's everyday world. Anyway, being here. There we go. Alright, where are the other two ones that I know where one I haven't gone to is. I have 4 beans left. I got the 2 in the Lost Woods. I got 1 in Quick Hickory. The graveyard makes 4. Death Mountain. Oh, Death Mountain. That's right. That's the only one it could be, I think. Because I got the one in Helia. Yeah, I can't think of any others that it would be. How many... Okay. You can beat the game without collecting a single Skulltula, by the way. The Adult's Wallet is useful, but it's not mandatory for beating the game. Are you allowed to wear that on duty, sir? It could be quite the shocking revelation if your captain sees you. Yep. Let's see. I'm trying to think of the fastest way of going where I want to go. Our next goal is the Gerudo Valley. And yes, I know some people pronounce it Gerudo, but in English, G followed by an E means that the G is soft, like in gem. So, Gerudo. That's how I pronounce it. And that's how I'm gonna keep pronouncing it. Wait till we get to games like Morrowind, where absolutely nothing is given a pronunciation guide. I'm gonna probably be driving people up a wall with how I pronounce things then. Alright, let's go. Only one more bean we can plant in the meantime. Appears somebody has something. Sorry, I had to check up on something. Like, I'm running like a million things on the side. I think I might have mentioned this, but I have some big plans, and I'm so eager to just talk about them, but I need to keep these things in lockdown and surprise, because it's something that I absolutely cannot spoil. Like, I mean, I could just hold off on making this video, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to mix up too many games going on. I'm already playing like 3 of them. I've got Tetris footage already recorded. I just need to talk over it because it's a post-commentary kind of deal. But yeah. Anyway, Gerudo Valley. I really do love this song. Like I said, I can't praise Ocarina of Time soundtrack enough. It's not my favorite of the series, but it does have a sizable number of tracks that I will listen to while not playing the game. Like, I'm gonna say that right now. Although we have to get rid of the Gerudo Valley song for this. We'll get a chance to listen to it later. I know I said I'm not going to try and get all of the Skulltulas, but if there's one nearby that I know, I'm not going to pass it up. So you take your chicken and you jump off a cliff. Oh, please, let us have, okay, I think for a second there I thought I wasn't going to make it. For some reason there's an invisible wall here, and I don't know why, considering the current is very powerful and would just toss you back. Go, 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 go. Chicken left us. Chicken. Oh. Okay, the last bean we can plant is here. So why did you come all the way down here? What? You were just about to ask me the same question? Well, now that you're down here, you may as well make the best of it. 'Cause we gonna die. We gonna die. At least we won't die hungry. That cow looks delicious. And the last of the bugs we need for now. Bugs! Alright. Now, if we take this river, it won't grind us to shreds, but it will take us to Lake Hylia. Which is, believe it or not, where we want to be. Because for once in his life, or for the second time in his life, Kapora is actually going to be of use to us. I know, it's a Christmas miracle. First things first. There's another Skulltula we can get here now. Doop-a-doop-a-doop. Also, I would probably do anything to silence this annoying scratching. Ah. I am, like, completely out of supplies. I'm out of bombs, I'm out of Deku Seeds. And I have no idea why. I haven't been especially, I haven't been especially liberal with them. What are you doing? You've come a long way to get up here. You should look at the map subscreen sometimes. Link, this is a beautiful lake full of pure, clear water. He kind of insults your sense of navigation for getting here. Like, maybe you should look at the map. You shouldn't be here at all. Blada, blada, blada. Anyway, if you hold on to his talons by holding down the A button, he'll take you back to Hyrule Castle, which is exactly where we want to go. Although we need to make it daytime again. Goodbye, Skellies. Bye-bye, Skelly Bros. Now let me in. You know, this fucking gate is stupid. I hope it blows up. I hope somebody could do us all a favor. Anyway, there's a minigame we have yet to try, because I hate this minigame. Bomb Shoe Bowling. Yes, I said the bomb shoes were amazing. Bomb Shoe Bowling, on the other hand, not so much. So we go to this sleeping woman, and, okay, first of all, this is more expensive than most minigames. Secondly, the prize you get here is randomized. Like, Bomb Shoes is not exactly a very good reward. I mean, at this point in the game, they're kind of hard to come by, but not... They're not difficult to find or buy. Now, look at here. These ones are nearly impossible for me to hit. I'm like on a... Like, it's very hard for me to just go diagonally and actually line up the shot. Because you don't have, like, true 360 control of Link. The bomb shoes don't seem to go straight either. Unless you don't want them to go straight. And it's very, very hard to gauge the turns and shit. Also, the birds move randomly. I mean, the spike, it moves methodically, but... Okay, that should have gone through. That's gonna hit the spike. Move, move, bird! I hope that cooked you extra crispy. Oh, fuck. Hell. Yes. And the reward is different every single time. So if you only want the piece of heart, or only the upgraded bomb bag, you might be here for quite some time. The first one, not too bad. Sometimes you'll get lucky, and it'll be this one. Only sometimes, though. Move! Thank you! But for the center target to line up with the prize that you want, for the chickens to not get in your way randomly. The stars need to align. What? Yeah. Come on, come on, come on. Now what I wanted here was the bomb bag. But the piece of heart isn't the worst thing in the world. Yeah, what am I gonna win? And sometimes your prize is just fucking normal, everyday fucking bombs. Die! I'm done with this establishment. And of course you can't leave until the game is over. And I don't know how much they fixed that in the remake. I know the stupid randomized prize is still around in the remake, but I think it's a little bit easier to play. Actually, no, because you can't aim bomb shoes with the gyroscope. Now here's the very, very somber Temple of Time. Looks a little bit like a church, but okay. Anyway, you play the Song of Time in the Temple of Time to open up the Door of Time. With the 3 spiritual stones of time. Actually, no, that would be a teensy bit redundant. But they open up the door for us, and they'll reveal the Master Sword. Now, this is essentially the same plot from A Link to the Past. Collect 3 things from 3 dungeons, get the Master Sword, and you will unlock the hard part of the game, where the dungeons are tougher and the world has turned evil and whatnot. The main difference, though, is the time. I could get to the Master Sword in A Link to the Past within an hour. Definitely within 2. However, in A Link to an Ocarina of Time, it takes like an hour to get to Hyrule Field at all. In this particular playthrough, playing pretty much as good as I possibly can, it took me 40 minutes to get to Hyrule Field. And I get that some people like a longer game. There's nothing wrong with a game being longer. The problem is that a lot of it feels like filler. You know, cutscenes and backstory that we don't need to see. Hyrule Field being very large and very spacious. And a bunch of other redundancies. And now we get, and speaking of redundancies, now we get a very long cutscene. Where we come across Rauru. Like, this cutscene is just the longest in the game, and it's I hate to say it's pretty much boring. These cutscenes kind of bored me when I originally played the game, because I wanted to get to the game. I mean, if you want me to get invested in the story, don't just throw the story in my face. Get me invested, like in Link's Awakening and like in Majora's Mask. I am Rauru. So apparently Rauru is also Kapora Gabora, but it's never really stated that he's Kapora Gabora. With all of the things they throw both in your face, you think they'd say their connection at some point. But they do not. The Master Sword was the final key to the Sacred Realm. Look at yourself. Oh my god. Fucking puberty. Look, Link, you're big now. You've grown up. The Master Sword is a blah blah, which evil ones may never touch. Only one worthy of the title Hero of Time can pull it from them. However, you are too young to be the Hero of Time. That sounds arbitrary, and if that arbitrary rule wasn't there, Ganon wouldn't have blown up the world. Seriously, I don't get why more people don't point this out. If Zelda didn't give Link the Ocarina, Ganon could have never gotten into the Sacred Realm. And the world would be safe. Safer. If Link wasn't forced to wait 7 years to hold the goddamn sword, the world could be safer. Like, he could have stood against Ganon. Like, it was a time when they chose the gameplay and then the story was used to piece it together. Which is absolutely fine, except Ocarina of Time just had the misfortune of being in that time when they tried to take their stories more seriously, and it's definitely growing pains here. Again, I'm doing my best to not just bring up the story randomly. I'm only bringing up the story when I'm forced to experience the story. And at the same time, I'm not saying that A Link to the Past or the original Zelda game has the greatest story ever. No, they don't have good stories either. The difference is that I can ignore the stories because they take a back seat. But Ocarina of Time's story is trying to drive the truck, and it's doing it without a license. So, now we meet Sheik. Sheik is a very interesting character to talk about. Inside the game and out of the game. And I'm not talking about that stupid debate of, is Sheik male? That's not going to be a discussion here. Sheik is Sheik. And I'm going to be referring to Sheik as a he. Because that's how Sheik is referred to in-game. I've been waiting for you, Hero of Time. Now, Sheik's theme here, the Prelude of Light, is my favorite soundtrack and my favorite song in, I think, all of Zelda. Like, it is a beautiful piece. It really, really is. And I do like Sheik's appearance and his role in the game. I must say, though, Sheik has a fucking stupid name. So you're disguising yourself as a Sheikah, so you name yourself Sheik. It's like disguising yourself as a human and naming yourself Hugh Man, or just Hugh for short. I guess that maybe Sheik and Sheik, they have some sort of significance. But no, it sounds like a very, very lazy attempt at a disguise in the name. Anyway, Sheik tells us to go to the Forest Temple. Unfortunately, equipped as you currently are, you cannot even enter the temple. Oh, so yeah, we need to get essentially our upgraded boomerang back. Now, the most interesting thing about Sheik is the things that he's going to be telling us. Not here, he just basically tells us what to do, and does it in a way that's much easier to digest than what Kepora Gabora does. I much prefer Sheik over Kepora Gabora, I'll say that right now. And I do love this part. Just going out into the world, finding these pools drained. Death Mountain has a fucking ring of fire. And Hyrule Marketplace is just crawling with re-deads. Just crawling with them. All the houses are destroyed and blown up, and you're not entirely sure what exactly has happened. However, this doesn't really carry throughout the rest of the world. Like, for one, the gate's blown up, and now I can enter the Hyrule Marketplace at nighttime. That is a good thing. There's also no skeletons wandering about at night. Like, I guess maybe the lore reason is that they only attack kids or something, like many fairy tale creatures do. But Hyrule Fields in the Ganon-controlled world is much, much safer, and this is one of the first things that you experience. They really should have put something a little bit more dangerous in the field. There are a few Poes running about, but they're just a nuisance. They don't really ever attack you. And that's about it. And Kakikoro Village, the place you go to, really hasn't suffered. It's gotten a little bit of a boom here, as everybody has migrated here. And it seems like people aren't too miserable, at least here. Ah, look at this guy. Ever since he escaped from Hyrule Castletown, he's become even more timid. Like, I mean, people have mentioned their escape, and they seem a little bit downtrodden, but Kakikoro's doing okay for itself. What do you have to say? I've bred a new type of miniature cuckoo. I call it the pocket cuckoo. I don't get goosebumps from this baby. I'm getting lazy. Haven't you heard of them before? Yeah. You look like you're good at handling cuckoos. Here, take this egg. After the cuckoo hatches, bring it back to me after a while and I'll check out its mood. Yeah, sure. Yay, a pocket egg. That's... I've heard of pocket calculators, but pocket eggs. Okay. Before we go anywhere, we do want the Song of Storms. Question mark. Like, I don't know why this place is subtitled question mark. You could just call it a fucking windmill. What? You got an ocarina? What the heck? That reminds me of that time 7 years ago. Back then a mean kid came in here and played a strange song. It messed up this windmill. I'll never forget the song. This is mandatory to beat the game. Also, I'd probably be remiss if I mentioned that the time travel logic in this game is very wonky and doesn't make sense. Like, you need to get the Song of Storms from this guy, which he only knows because you played it for him as a kid. Which, okay, that's one way of doing time travel. But then there are the magic beans, which will only grow if you've planted them in the past. Both of these things contradict each other when it comes to rules of time travel, and the game likes to pick and choose which ones it goes through. But then again, it's... Actually, as a time travel plot, this game comes closer to most other time travel plots. But it just does... It drops the ball with the magic beans and some of the side quests. So, anyway, first things first. Piece of heart. That'll be useful. And we pull this gravestone, because Dampy has died. Which is certainly sad. Alright, follow him without getting burned, I guess. Okay, follow him even though you got burned. I don't think there's a upper time limit. Some gates will close, but I don't think there is a time you need to get there under. And I think you can re-race him for a heart piece. I'm not going to do that because I'm not the biggest fan of this. Oh, what do you have to say, Navi? You know what, Navi, no, we shouldn't. We're not going there ever again. He seems like a liar and a charlatan. It's probably a trap that's going to lead to us getting mugged. Yes, I know my way around this place that much that I can memorize where to go and get through the gate before it's too late. So, if you're complaining about me nitpicking everything apart and just trying to hate this game for the sake of hating it, no, I know so much about this game, and I have these thoughts only because I have played it so much. Yeah, we get the hook shots, the spring-loaded chain. The hookshot is definitely a weird addition to the Zelda items. Like, I mean, it's not like the medieval technology that you've had before. It's almost fantastical in design. And it doesn't really have much of a basis in the real world besides, I guess, a grappling hook, although the grappling hook is different. But it's definitely very well integrated into the series. Anyway, yeah. Like, these blocks are just here to pretend that the Song of Time is useful for anything in this game. Like, these blocks, like, what kind of puzzle is it to just play the Song of Time when you see the icon of the Song of Time? That's nothing. Go round, go round, go round like a merry-go-round. Piece of heart. No, I'm probably not gonna get all of them either. Well, I'm almost certain that I'm not gonna get all of them, considering what I said about Dampy. Or, yeah, Dampy. Oh, do I have 40? Like, if I have 40, why not? No? Okay. Now, if you really wanted to, you could probably go to the Fire Temple before the Forest Temple. The Fire Temple is my least favorite Zelda dungeon that I have ever played so far. I'm not going to talk much about it now, but yes, I hate the Fire Temple in this game more than I hate the Water Temple. I'm a little bit weird because, I think the hatred towards the Water Temple is a little bit overblown. I actually do admire the Water Temple a little bit, in the same way that I admire the, Great Deku Tree, and we'll talk about it. The first one on the list is the Forest Temple, though. And the Forest Temple has something that no other temple in this game really seems to have. Except for maybe the Spirit Temple. And the Shadow Temple. The, Forest Temple has atmosphere. An atmosphere that I really do like. But first, we need to get there. So, the Kokikiri Forest has been overrun with evil, and we need to sort it all out. I guess not helping is that it's the middle of the night. Like, I don't think this bean does anything, or gets us anything of any significance. It just teleports us around, I guess. And gets us treasure! Not worth planting a bean here. If you're limited on beans, ignore that one, I guess. I think I'm losing frame rate. There's just so much shit here. Into the forest. Go this way. This way. And here's Mido. You can't fool me. I promised Saria I would never let anybody go through here. Now, Saria's song as, like, a key song, which I'm going to call Zelda's Lullaby and the Song of Time, actually makes sense. Saria is usually mentioned, and it seems to be a wise way to do it. Just putting the Triforce on the ground, or the Temple of Time symbol on a block, it doesn't tax my memory. It doesn't take any sorting out. I hate this part. If you take it slow, maybe you could sneak up on some enemies, blah blah blah. Good God, the upgrades Moblins got in 3D. Or at least here. Moblins seem to be standard mooks in pretty much every other game. Here they're fucking obnoxious. Turn around, dipshit. Yeah, and your nuts don't work on them either. Their timing is just so fucking wonky. Just gotta be careful at what business end you're getting at. Why don't the Deku Nuts work on these dipshits? They have eyes. Yeah, your best bet here is to just find ways to sneak past them. Really, that is all you can do. And hope you don't get thrown in the drink. Pretty much. This guy is actually quite easy. Also, I think we're going to get into one of Sheik's philosophies, which should be a treat. Because when I was a kid, I really truly believed in what Sheik was saying. But as an adult, I don't have the same sort of... Like, I strongly disagree with a lot of what Sheik says as an adult. Which is kind of interesting when you put into the themes of the game, of the differences between being a child and an adult. Saria is not here anymore. But Sheik is. The flow of time is always cruel. Its speed seems different from each person, but no one can change it. That still holds up. A thing that doesn't change with time is a memory of younger days. This I disagree with strongly. Our memories are constantly changing. They're constantly tainting the past with our current experiences and how we look back on things. Our memories are more prone to fading than anything else. They seem to fade faster, actually, as details and moments collide, and we remember things not as they happened, but as we may have wanted them to happen. Like, I disagree strongly with a lot of... Like, it's basically the wisdom of an adult. And we're going to be dealing with a lot of this as we go on. The Forest Temple is probably my favorite dungeon of this game. It can be a little confusing, but I think it's one of the dungeons that really does get you to use your head. Although I think this is the point in the Master Quest where I stopped playing the Master Quest. Like, the Master Quest doesn't exactly make dungeons harder, it makes them more cryptic in annoying ways. Like I said, half the time they're just closing doors and hiding eye targets in weird fucking places. Why do you put the hookshot there? Alright, now we can come here whenever we want, which is very, very useful. I mean, it will be more useful when we have another song. Because nearby here is, as we previously explored, a fairy fountain. Now, the Master Sword does more damage than the Kokikiri Sword, obviously. So these enemies will go a little bit quicker. And the hookshot does more damage than the slingshot. Which does kind of make me annoyed that the slingshot is in the game at all. Like, I mean, Adult Link can't use a lot of what Child Link uses, and vice versa. Child Link can't use a lot of what Adult Link works. And unlike adults not being able to use the stick for some fucking reason, what Child Link can't use does make a little bit more sense. Like, Child Link can't use a bow, or a hookshot. Bows do take a lot of strength. Or, I would say that it would make sense, except for the existence of other Zelda games. Like, in Twilight Princess, Adult Link uses the slingshot. In Majora's Mask, Child Link uses both the hookshots and the bow, which is this game's immediate sequel. I just find it completely stupid. Now, this dungeon really shapes itself like a haunted mansion. It's not 100% complete with the theme, but it definitely feels like you're going around in a haunted mansion with gardens and tunnels and stairwells. It really seems to have the lack of... In Jabu Jabu's Belly, I said that that dungeon had the lack of something. A lack of... Actually, I think it was Dodongo's Cavern, where I said that it had a lack of identity. Like, it was supposedly a mine or a quarry, but it didn't look like it at all. Now, here, you don't have to tell me that this is kind of like a mansion or maybe a museum, something like that. It feels like it. It feels like a mansion. Like somebody may have once lived here. I mean, I might not be accurate on that, but apparently the dungeons in A Link to the Past, or Ocarina of Time, are based on things. The adult temples, anyway. Now, I do believe you actually have to go up there. Which means avoiding that guy. Now, these guys, they'll get red, and then or purple, and they'll try to knock you down. And then they'll apparently return to their spot. Like nothing had even happened. Now, I think you actually do have to sneak past this guy here. Because, as I've already spoiled, you do get the bow here. These are bubbles. They can jinx you and prevent you from using your sword. It's annoying. And bubbles did exist in the 2D Zelda games. They're another enemy that's gotten more annoying in 3D. Although not in Majora's Mask, because you can farm money out of them. The map. Now, the adult temples are much larger, much more dangerous places. And they really do try challenging you. Here's a switch. It drains the well. I hear Skulltula. It's over there. Oh yeah, I forgot the fucking scarecrow. That's not too important, I think. Because you can hook onto chests. You know, this fucking gridded aiming system will... Aiming the hook shot is the worst of the Ocarina of Time's aiming system. It can seriously make you foam with rage. God damn it. Oh, you look like you're having a time of your life. Oh, thank you for the stick I can't use. Now, the background music here is probably my least favorite of the temple soundtracks. It just kind of sounds like it's laughing at you. Which can get aggravating. Yeah, I think this is intentionally done so you can't do this. But fuck that. Fuck that noise. I'll do what I want. Oh, ha ha ha. Alright, go down the well. Yes, we're in Silent Hill. Now down here, there's a chest somewhere. Yes, here it is. Basically, we're on a mission to get as many keys as possible before we go into the deeper segments of the dungeon. Like, this is definitely a dungeon that's very easy to get lost in, I will admit that. But I do like some of the set pieces here. And like I said, this is probably the dungeon that has the most identity in the entire game. Next, we want to go upstairs this way. Yay, more Skulltula. And here there is Stelphos. Now these guys have gotten fun. Stelphos can be annoying, and yeah, the Deku Nuts, they're useful when you're a kid. Adults, a lot of enemies use shields. Like, I get you're usually better off just attacking when they're vulnerable. Also, but I don't know, it helps, it kind of helps me. Fairy! Like, obviously you can't use the Deku Nuts on bosses, but there's definitely plenty of use I have with these. And you'd be surprised the kind of enemies that they can turn the tide of battle on. And another key. There we go. Go through the gardens and up here and you get 3 keys. Oh, yes. Now I don't have to keep bugs in my bottles anymore. I can... God! I hate when that happens. I really hate when that happens. There we go. I'm probably not going to get all the Skulltulas in the adult dungeons. I'm going to say that right now. Alright. Now we go into the wing. At least these guys aren't a threat anymore. They're just there. Hookshot them, they're dead. Or use the bow when you get it. This room is quite the interesting experience. Looks like they kind of gave up construction here. There are arrows painted on the floor. Oh, hey, Navi! There are bricks on the wall! Like, you could see them? I thought we were just pointing out the obvious. Hey, Navi! This block is green! Like I said, why Navi gets so much flack, even though other quote-unquote helpers in Zelda do the same thing, is because Navi doesn't have a personality. That's what it all boils down to. Like, name one character trait of hers. Anything. Like, maybe dutiful, maybe curious, maybe... These are kind of things you need to infer. Like, compared to Majora's Mask, Tattle has a well-defined character. She's a bit abrasive, but it's something, and she's much easier to stomach, even though her words aren't as friendly. But no, Navi, all she fucking does is state the obvious. And basically repeatedly tells you where to go and what you quote-unquote should be doing. And to make matters worse, she's competing against Kaepora Gaebora, who has less purpose of being in the game. But having two of these people together, or creatures or whatever, just makes a back and forth competition of stupid. Like, each of them make each other more annoying. Luckily, in this half of the game, we don't have to deal with Kaepora Gaebora anymore. There's only one more dialogue we have to deal with him, and then it's done. Then it's fucking done. You can cry a little happy tear. Now that you're an adult, the game is, I guess, hand-holding you less. But, I don't know, a third of the game is a little bit long to be a tutorial. Just avoid these guys, it's not important. Now we get... This corridor is all twisted. Really? I thought... you know what, it's not even fun to mock Navi anymore. Ah, yes. The good old-fashioned wall masters. Alright, you get all three, and then you go... Yeah, you need 3 keys to go through here. So you get them all from outside, and then you get the bow. Don't fall! That's all I can say during this first encounter. Come on, buddy. Come on. Ah. Come on. There we go. Now, I think if you don't kill one of these guys quickly enough, or if you don't kill both of them quickly enough, the first one you kill will rise again. Also, this is a battle where the L targeting system can really screw you over. So be careful while using it. Yep, the skeleton is still on the floor. That's how you know, so do it quickly. You don't really have time to miss these blows. There we go. Hey, look at this! I got my slingshot back! Like, think about it. I mean, if they didn't take away your slingshot, what use would you have for this? You wouldn't have any because it would be redundant. Because it is redundant. I mean, like I said, in Twilight Princess, the adult Link could use the slingshot, and guess what? It was fucking redundant in Twilight Princess. Nobody ever used the slingshot because they got the bow in the first dungeon. Anyway, the goal in this one is to get all 4 Poe sisters. The first 2 are quite simple. I wonder. Yeah, like I said, you'd be surprised to how well this could work. Dekunuchi appears instantly. I don't think it's a glitch. Yeah, I don't think it's a glitch. Now, if we go back, we saw one of those twisted pathways. Doop-de-doop-de-doop-de-doop-de-doop-de-doop. This aiming. Like, good God, this aiming. And I can only imagine how much worse it was with the fucking C buttons. Actually, no, you don't use the C buttons for aiming. You use the main stick for aiming. Anyway, boss's key, because in the adult world, you need a special key to enter the boss's room. Definitely don't want to stay here. Hello. Oh, I need those Deku Nuts, thank you. Now, if you get Jinx, you'll have to rely on your sub-weapons. In Zelda 1, that was essentially a death sentence because the sub-weapons kind of sucked. In Ocarina, they're good. They're very good. But in turn, the Jinx isn't as effective. Okay, now, this enemy, if you don't kill all of them quickly enough, they will come back together. Please tell me why people don't like the Deku Nuts. I'm probably gonna do a Twitter poll. Deku Nuts, good item or bad item? You guys all know the right answer by now. We go this way. Oh, that's a level above us, okay. I think this is just a bundle of arrows, but that's useful. Excellent, yes, that is very useful. Okay, maybe not very useful, but it is quite what I needed. Alright, climb up this final ladder. And then we basically untwist the hallway. So, Silver Eyes you can shoot repeatedly. The cure for getting poked in the eye is to poke yourself in the eye again. Oh, crap, I'm low on health. I don't have a fairy backup. Let's hope that's not too much of a problem. Yeah, like... all of this just seems to be a part of a giant haunted house. What do we got here? Heart? Okay. Alright, I'll take some hearts. That'll loosen the pressure. Also, the boss here is definitely one of the harder bosses in the game. I guess it's following the, A Link to the Past tradition of, quote-unquote, the hardest boss in the game being the first one in the Dark World. Okay, so yeah, if you're staring at these, pictures, the ghost inside will, teleport to another one if you look at it. Which is why you want to stand here in the center of the stairs, so you can look at multiple posters at once, and she won't teleport. Ah, okay. Disappear. Flash. Disappear. Flash. Like I said, they don't work on bosses, but sub-bosses, they can really help you out. Up we go. And a door. You know, if you didn't stop me, they might have a less of a chance of actually getting to me. Alright, so we go through this hallway with our other key. Yeah, this is more or less the way you do this dungeon as quickly as possible, the route you're supposed to take. Now, this right here, puzzles like this, is exactly why Adult Link can't use torches or sticks. I fucking... Oh, I don't have... I wonder if I can get magic power. Because I spit on your puzzle, good sir. Arrows. No, no magic. Fuck you. Yeah, usually I just use Din's Fire here. It works. And it's a lot less annoying. Okay, how the fuck do I get back up? Oh, there it is. Alright, jump. Okay, we'll do this the proper way, I guess. It's gonna be a long rotation. Really long rotation. God, fuck, I hate this. Don't you look at me. You don't look at me like that. So if you miss, you just want to... Like, all you need to do is just recalibrate and just ride around again. Like that's all there is to it. You got one, maybe two shots each time. There we go. That was a lot more annoying than necessary. That'll twist the other hallway, and we can get the fuck out of here. There are no chests here. Okay, good. Let's go. We go this way. This leads us to outside. Okay, yeah, this is where you can get the Skulltula and shit. Okay. So, falling ceiling. Can't walk on the top of it, but, whatever. You don't actually have a whole lot of leeway here, so you might want to move. Run to the switch, run to this little chest. And go forward. Okay. Third post, sister. Yeah. Let's do this. Now, 4 of these blocks are of her, and the 5th is a random other post sister, I guess. Once again, even though Link has grown, he's still pretty weak when it comes to moving around fucking blocks. Because as we all know, in 3D games, pushing around blocks needs to take an exorbitant amount of time. If you don't get this in time, they will rotate randomly. And the actual fight with her is pretty much the same. She'll spin around. And she'll die again. Alright. Now, if I'm correct, this should take us right back to the center. Yep, where we will fight the 4th post sister. Now, one of them will give a twirl. You. Whoever gives the twirl is it. It's a fight that's as old as time. Like, very as old as time. I'm tired of this exact same boss fight. I did this exact same shit in Terranigma. Anytime. And the elevator to the basement has opened wide for us. And once again, this is definitely a very good example of what a dungeon should do. It should place the exit or the boss fight near the entrance. Like, even towards the end of the game, they should be doing that. So then there's this room where you rotate the walls. Like, I don't know if this is supposed to be a puzzle or just stupid. Because it's just stupid. What do we have here? An arrow! Oh, I'm wondering, do I have all the Skulltulas from here? No, I don't. Okay, whatever. I really don't give a shit. Alright. Yeah, I really don't like the music to this dungeon. Like, dungeon music tends to be a little bit bland in Zelda, but no, I'd rather any track other than one that actively sounds like it's laughing at me. And yeah, I get it, it's kind of creepy, and that's the whole atmosphere they're going for, but... It's just not an atmosphere I care about. Alright, I guess I do care about the atmosphere, it's just... I wish they found a different way to do it with the soundtrack. Yeah, so basically just rotate this around once or twice, like... It doesn't matter which one or which direction you go into, you have to go through all of them somehow. Oh, I don't have any fairies for one of the hardest bosses in the game. Okay. Alright, you go here, there seems to be nothing, you try to leave, and... Oh no! Bars I could easily walk through. It's Ganon. Actually, Ganon is Old Man Jenkins. Alright. So he'll be coming around the mountain when he comes through one of these portraits. There are a few copies, and one of them is real, and is coming through the portrait, and you need to hit him or you're going to be in trouble. I don't know if there's a particular way to tell if it's the real one. If it's the fake one, he'll turn around at some point. But at that point, it's usually too late. And after that, it's time to play everyone's favorite game of tennis. This is another Zelda thing that I don't know why it's become a cliche. Like, I think at this point everyone just mocks it even. Like, I mean, this boss is kind of a clone of the actual Ganon boss fight you have later on. Since he's only letting me get in one hit, make sure it's a jump attack every single time. Jump attacks do the most damage. As Majora's Mask repeatedly reminded me. And yes, you can use a bottle to redirect the lightning, or the whatever's. And eventually he'll go batter up. And it does take some pretty slick reaction times at times. But seriously, I've had this boss battle before, guys. Like, I know you want to make all of the previous boss battles in 3D, but I didn't need to fight Ganem for a third time. I really didn't. You gotta have one or two new ideas up there, right? The fire dungeon, no, that's basically a Lanmola done again. I guess Morpheus is kind of different, but stupid. There we go. He is deaded. Hey kid, you did quite well. It looks like you may be gaining some slight skill. But you have defeated only my phantom. When you fight the real me, it won't be so easy. What a worthless creation that ghost was. I will banish it to the gap between dimensions. And we get a piece or a full-on heart container into the drink. Chamber of the Sages. It's time for Exposition Theater, starring Saria. Thank you. Because of you, I could awaken as a sage. I am Saria, the sage of the Forest Temple. I always believed that you would come, because I know you. No. You don't have to explain it to me, because it is destiny that you and I can't live in the same world. I will stay here as the Forest Sage and help you. Now please take this medallion. I wouldn't do that if I were you, Saria. At some point, he's going to get a more magical one and just leave this one to the wayside. Like, seriously. I mean, I kind of get them not correcting it in the original Ocarina of Time, but why wasn't that... Why didn't they add just, like, one line of dialogue or an extra cutscene in the remake? It's almost a plot hole. It's not quite a plot hole, it just makes Link kind of look like a dick. Yeah, Saria will always be my friend, but I'm going to get rid of her treasured memory for something better. Yes, get close to it. It's a fucking plant. You live in the forest. It can't be that... Hi there, I'm the Deku Tree Sprout. Because you and Saria broke the curse on the Forest Temple, I can grow and flourish. Thanks a lot. It's time for a plot twist. That's because the Kokikiri never grow up. Even after 7 years, they're still kids. You must be wondering why only you have grown up. Well, as you might have already guessed, you are not Kokikiri. You are actually a Hylian. Interesting secret. Could have spared Link maybe some bullying, or at least understood why a fairy wasn't coming to him. There was a fierce war in our world. to entrust it. Blah, 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 blah. This isn't important exposition to me either. I mean, I guess it's fitting for the story, and this one actually is more important than why the world was created. That's right, you must save the land of Hyrule. Now, Link, break the curses on all the temples and return peace to Hyrule. Was gonna do that anyway. But that's enough for this time. We'll save the world next time. You probably... It should be, once again, only a few moments for you. Goodbye. I'm starting on this screen because the second we get into the Temple of Time, there will be a cutscene. Or, I guess not. When we go back towards the Master Sword, after completing the Forest Temple, there will be another cutscene with Sheik, who will teach us the Prelude of Light that will teleport us here. You destroyed the wicked creatures that haunted the temple and awakened the sage. But there are still other sages who need your help. In order to awaken all other sages, you must become even more powerful. I think he already told us this. If you want to return to your original time, return the Master Sword to the Pedestal of Time. Now, this does enable some of the most interesting mechanics of Ocarina of Time. Time will come when you will have to return here quickly. I will teach this to you for when that time comes. I just wish that you were taught the Prelude of Light and were able to go back in time before going to the Forest Temple. I know that that would be bad for story and tension and all of that, but as we've established, the story is not very good. And I do think it hampers the experience of the game when the actual gameplay is broken down and made lesser because of the story. But now we have these songs that actually allow us to start teleporting around the world. The Minuet of Time, or the Minuet of Forest, is more or less useless. Now, believe it or not, this is finally when the game starts opening up to us, but only barely. There are 3 dungeons we can tackle right now. Like, people hate the Water Temple a lot, so they save it for after the Fire Temple, but you can do the Water Temple first. Or you could do the Bottom of the Well. As much as I don't want to, yes, I will be tackling the Fire Temple next. And I'm going to explain to you exactly why I hate the damn thing. But first, we're going to get Epona. First thing, make sure you get the Scarecrow song before going into the Fire Temple. If you want to get everything. It's not mandatory to beat the dungeon, but it's mandatory to get everything in it. Anyway, I'm going to get Epona because I want to move around the map quickly. You know, without doing this. Keep going, Link. You'll get there eventually. And, in here, basically, I forget his name. The ranch was taken from Terran by, this guy. Do I have enough rupees? Yeah, I think I do. This guy. There are some people in Kakikoro spreading rumors that I cheated Talon out of the ranch, but... Okay, if somebody comes up to you and says, there are rumors about me, don't believe them. You should immediately believe the rumors. That guy Talon was weak. I, the hard-working Ingo, that's his name, poured so much energy into this place. I don't want any strangers like you saying anything bad about me. Like, I don't know if this is in-story or whatever, but on some level, you do kind of have to sympathize with Ingo here. He was working for a very lazy boss who never did any work at all. And so Ganon finally got rid of the lazy-ass boss and gave him his position. So far, Ganondorf, by conquering the world, has kept the gate open at nighttime, removed the skeletons in the field, and gave the person who the hardworking person the ranch. Like, I know that Ganon's evil and he probably is implied to have murdered the king or whatever. Okay, this is annoying because you cannot, you can't challenge Ingo here to erase the first time. It's only done the second time. So you might want to just get out of here as quickly as possible. Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
Alright, I think I need an extra 10 rupees. Because he's gonna challenge you for a bunch of money. God damn, there's no rupees here. Time to go find rupees, yes. And as I've said, Epona is more or less optional, but you do want Epona. Fucking hell. Like, in Majora's Mask, there were patches of grass, like, everywhere. So I thought that, you know, just maybe, just sorta maybe, that I would be, finding some here, but, no, there is no patches of grass anywhere. They couldn't have even put that in. Yes, there's something strange about the cloud. Oh, yes, there's a patch of grass right here. Perfect. I'm just picking up pennies. Oh, of course, this game has poppin'. There are the Poes. You can't do anything about them until, after, you get Epona. And even then, they're still annoying. Like A Link to the Past, getting the 4th bottle is sort of cryptic, and it's the most annoying bottle. Oh, yeah, I forgot about the chicken. Alright, but now I've got all the money I need, provided I can do this the first time. So let's go in the first time. Also, I have a bit of a sore throat, so, pardon me if I'm not as talkative as I should be. I think I might be coming down with something, I hope not. Yes, I get sick very often, and I don't know why. Yeah, right. Don't listen. Blah, blah, blah. Alright. You have to ride Epona, and you can only ride Epona if you know Epona's song. Ingo will challenge you to a race for like 50 rupees or some shit. You can ride on the normal horse, but I don't think it's possible to win. I'm pretty sure it's not. You're getting better. Yeah, do it. Just do it! Now, the annoying thing about this is that you gotta beat him twice. Like, I think the first time it's possible to win on the, normal horse. The second time, it's not so much. Now, you see these carrots, you press them all, you go faster. It's actually wiser to use up all your carrots, because once the cooldown period is over, they'll all burst back up. If you don't do that, they'll slowly go back up. Yeah, first time is easy, but second time, he's serious. Alright, let's do this. Of course, he gets like a brief head start, which is not good. Like in most races, stay on the inside as much as possible. And then basically position yourself so he has to bump into you. Boop. And we've actually got a faster way of moving around the world, at long fucking last. What's up with that horse? Is that Epona? How did you tame that wild horse right under my nose? I was going to present that horse to the great Ganondorf. Okay, he couldn't tame the horse, but he was going to give the untamed horse to the king of all evil. He's not a very wise man. Yeah, he'll never let me leave the ranch. Okie dokie, buddy. I will admit, this is a cool escape. You just take Epona and you jump over the walls. And you could do this any single time you want to be epic. Alright, we have Epona, and Epona will come to us every time we play Epona's song now. And yes, we've saved Malon from a lifetime of hardship and whatnot. And this magically makes Ingo good again. Jumping over fences and stuff, I noticed in this game, is really finicky. Like, really finicky. If you go at it at any sort of angle, and you're not going fast enough, you'll just awkwardly hit it. And Lake Hylia is, drained. But we're here for a very specific reason. Hello, sir. Hey! Yeah. Play the song you played as a kid, and the Scarecrow song. Yeah. Apparently his friend, the Wandering Scarecrow, has actually gotten up and started wandering. Now, anytime you play, well, in certain locations where you play the Scarecrow song, he will appear. I hate the Scarecrow song. I really do. It's an interesting gimmick. But it's another one of these lock and key songs. And it's the only one where the lock isn't exactly clear as to where you put it. Imagine if there were no Triforce symbols for playing Zelda's Lullaby, and you just had to randomly know that you had to play it in this or that location. And yeah, I get it's only for secret shit, but still. It's a little more cryptic than necessary. I want to catch some bugs before going up to Death Mountain. So we're going to the graveyard. We're going to stop by the graveyard. Ah! Yeah, I have no idea why Epona can't run over some shit like that. You'll get awkwardly stopped a lot of the times. Actually, now that we have Epona, we can probably even go to the Gerudo Fortress. But I want to delay that particular part as long as possible. The adult world has a lot of annoying dungeons and a lot of annoying segments of the game. Like, in one way, yeah, they're harder, I guess, sure, but in another way, they are annoying. Like, chances are you're going to hate at least 2 of the adult dungeons. People tend to pick the Water Temple, and yeah, the Water Temple is interesting. But I've heard people say they hate the Forest Temple. I've heard people say they hate the Shadow Temple. The only one I think that we can all agree is at least a decent dungeon is the Spirit Temple, and even that one has a little bit of trouble. Or it has flaws. And like I said, I personally hate the Fire Temple. But first off, did we already do this? Yes, we already did this. I was already in the graveyard. What the fuck am I doing? Is the rock still here? Okay. 7 years, and that trusty rock is still here. Also, I should probably, actually, I can get fairies later. Oh, wait, there is a fairy fountain in Kekekoro. Now, that light is nice. It just... I love the cinematography here. Yeah, we're gonna leave the windmill. I'm doing that for the sun's song. I want it to be daytime. Because guess what? We gotta do the target practice shooting range again. This makes me feel so great that I wasted my time doing it as a kid. I mean, forcing people to play minigames twice is just... Yes. This time the only difference is that it's randomized. So, be prepared for that and some bad aiming. I think the bow handles a little bit easier because you could better see where the projectile is going. But it's still stupid. Also, it's much easier in this one to run out of arrows, let's say. Try and stay towards the center. You'll have a lot better luck. Okay. That aiming would be annoying and stupid. Once again, being messaged, I have returned. And I know what you're probably thinking. Ignore that I have a laptop going off on the side and Steam is annoying about it. Why don't I just turn off Discord or just ignore it until I'm done playing or whatever? And the reason is because I have people who are doing things, like people that I've hired, that need my commentary like as soon as it gets up so they can make changes and go on. Change it. Because I'm actually on a very tight deadline for some things. Like, very tight. Yes, and now there are boulders going down, because why the fuck not? Okay. The Dongo's Cavern is the only adult dungeon we can enter as a kid. It's the only kid dungeon we can enter as an adult. My god. And you need the Scarecrow sign to get the special thing inside. I said I wasn't going to focus too much on Skulltulas, but why not? We're in the vicinity. And bomb chews wouldn't be that useless of a thing to have. So after we kill these guys... Also, I do want to make sure that I did the stupid Scarecrow song thing right. Okay, when Navi does that, when she goes, like, somewhere... Yeah, the exact spot can be very finicky. Excuse me for one moment. Alright. I am very happy with the direction that things are going. Uh, did I get all of them in here? No, I didn't. There's always one Skulltula in this dungeon that I can never seem to find. But that's the only one you need to be an adult to get. And they hide these things in some pretty weird and interesting locations. If we go right into Death Mountain Crater, which is where the next dungeon is, we will be burned to death. It is possible to beat the game and get through the Water Temple without Zora's Tunic. However, I do not think it's the same in the Fire Temple with Goron's Tunic. I think it is mandatory. You know, if you want to beat the game glitchless. And, here's a very annoying part. We have to bomb this guy, and, I suck at timing bombs. But occasionally I do it on my first try. You're Ganondorf's servant. Hear my name and tremble. I am Link, hero of the Gorons. What? Your name is also Link? Then you must be the legendary Dodongo Buster and hero blah 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 blah. My dad is Darunai. He named me blah blah blah. Sure. Anyway, you do this, and, this isn't really necessary, but, he'll give you the Goron Tunic. You could go as a kid and buy it, I think. And he'll open up a shortcut. Just ask him about things. Long ago, there was an evil dragon named Volvagia, blah 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 blah. Using a huge hammer. Oh, we're gonna get to talk about the Megaton Hammer. And then you ask him about both things and you'll get the Goron Tunic. And blah 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 blah. Like, now, the Gorons are in legitimate peril. I hear Skulltula. Do you hear Skulltula? Skulltula is, on the back of the, spiritual stone pedestal. I think you need the long shot to get it. Yeah, it looks like you do. Majora's Mask adds a reticule, so you can at least see the red dot as to where it goes, where the hookshot goes. Which, honestly, should have been in this game. Like, you can't just not give someone a cursor or a reticule. Oh, yeah, you have to manually do this yourself. Okay. But yeah, some of the most expensive items in this game, you could just, you know, find. I really do hate aiming. Oh, it does give me a reticule. Okay. And Sheik. It is something that grows over time. A true friendship. A feeling in the heart that becomes even stronger over time. Once again, I have to disagree. Like, people, even your closest friends in your life, people come and go through your life all the time. You know, staying friends for over a decade is something that's extremely, extremely rare. I mean, friendship can grow over time, but people change and people leave. And I have no idea what passion of friendship... I don't know how a passion of friendship blossoms into a righteous power. But yeah, this is just something else that I have to disagree with Sheik on. Honestly, it's strange that in the adult's world, when Link's an adult, we are coming across very childhood understandings of the world. Bottle of Fire is pretty cool. And it's the easiest of the temple songs to actually play. I'll see you again. I don't doubt it. People in this game have a very uncanny ability to keep on appearing. Now, there is something that I gotta point out, and it's that the map of Death Mountain Crater very clearly has a dick and balls on it. Like, I would say, am I the only one who sees this? But I would be surprised if you've never noticed it. It looks very phallic. Okay. In the 3D remake, you can bring up the, I guess, notations of the songs or the recipe. Why? Actually, yeah, why not? I'm just gonna get some fairies. Yeah, but yeah, you can bring up the notes of the song as you play it, so you don't have to remember it, even for a short time, which is something that I really, really like. It makes it much, much easier. I mean, as a child, it doesn't really matter too much, because you basically get 3 notes repeated, 3 notes repeated. Ow, jeez, this guy hurts. He doesn't really hurt. Get out of here. Alright. Alright. Into the hole, and we have a fairy fountain. Because trust me, in the Fire Temple, you do not want to die. It's very worse. It's worse than pretty much any other dungeon in that regard. The Fire Temple is the other style of dungeon, which is essentially a gauntlet. Where the further you go into the dungeon, you know, the more likely you are to die in the dungeon, the more likely you are to die, and then the further you have to go. The Fire Temple is, ironically, very reminiscent of the Ice Temple from A Link to the Past, which makes me wonder why more people don't hate the Fire Temple. I mean, I guess it's because the Water Temple took all of its thunder, but whatever. Honestly, if I wasn't so insistent on doing things in order this time around, I probably would be doing the, Water Temple first, but I do want the Megaton Hammer for a very specific reason, and if you played this game, you probably know what the use of the Megaton Hammer is. Anyway, become a kid again, and go to Death Mountain Crater with the Baller of Fire. And make sure you do it quickly, or make sure you know what you want to do quickly. Yeah, it's very hot here. The dungeon itself is completely locked off to you. So, bugs. And Bean. And I do believe this is the only 2 Skulltulas in the crater. Yeah, those silver bricks... those gray, the gray rocks can only be broken with the Megaton Hammer. Now, I have posted the first half of this video up, and people say that Link's shadow rotates because Navi, because Navi is flying around him. And that would make sense. It makes sense at least in dungeons and stuff, but we've also seen this, like, outside, where the sun is the strongest source of light. It's definitely an effect that probably shouldn't be there. Like, I think Link should have, you know, a typical drop shadow. The Ball of Fire, thank God, is very easy to remember. As is the Prelude of Light. But the other ones, no, I do have to look up. Like, every single time. Doop-da-doop. Dead. Wait, how many pieces do I have? 3. Well, it'd be stupid to not get that one over there now, wouldn't it? Dove. Oh, I can only get through there with the fucking hammer. Okay. You want to play that? Fine. We'll play that game. In we go. Let's do this. Now, I'm not playing the original version of the game, obviously, so the music here is different than what it originally was. Because apparently the Fire Temple originally used a very sacred Muslim chant in the background that isn't exactly supposed to be used for typical music. Which, I have no idea why they would do that. Considering that this is the company that in Zelda 2 censored the name of temples to palaces because temple was too religious. Okay, you go in here and it's Darunia! Who's there? Is that you, Link? Oh, it really is Link. You've grown so big since I last saw you. I want to have a man-to-man talk with you, but now's not the time. Ganondorf is causing trouble on Death Mountain again. He has revived the evil ancient dragon Volvagia. On top of that, he is going to feed my people to that evil dragon as a warning to other races that might resist him. Yeah. Go on ahead and... I will go on ahead and try to seal up the evil... Okay. I'm concerned, though, because I don't have the legendary hammer, but I have no choice. Link, I'm asking you to do this as my blah, 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 blah. Please save my people. The prisoner cells are in the opposite direction. I'm counting on you, Link. Hey, Darunia, did you have to lock the door after you went through it? Like, why did you lock the door behind you? Like, you can't walk through a locked door, but you locked the door. Okay, fine. I guess you don't want my help. Anyway, the mechanic in this dungeon is releasing Gorons. You have to do something about the pillar stuck in the ceiling. Yeah, because this is another door where there are 2 locks. You not only have to find the key, which... let's ignore that, but you need to drop that pillar down. Which sounds simple enough, but this dungeon doesn't start out too bad. It looks decent, like a dungeon. You know, like most dungeons look pretty damn decent. But let's go. Actually, I can get another fairy in here. Also, there are fire keys, which are just stupid and annoying. I don't know why, but fire keys, even though they have pretty much the same mechanics as normal keys, are more annoying than normal keys. There's always a fairy in one of these bottles. And now we got 3. I am set. Good to go. Okay, there are always 2 fairies here. And bombs. We're going to need a lot of them. But you have to go in here to get the key. Hopefully we'll get the map before too long. Because this dungeon is not a fun time. Most individual rooms aren't very, very bad. It's just the dungeon as a whole. Let's go in here. And, we have freed a Goron. You can ignore them, I think. Are you really? Here's the secret for saving me. A wall that you can destroy with the Goron special crop will sound different than a regular wall if you hit it with your sword. I don't know why this annoys me, but I'm very annoyed that they keep hinting Goron special crop instead of saying bomb or bomb flower, like they're hinting at it. Like, if they say bombs, they'll be demonetized by YouTube or something. Actually, maybe that is a way to get around YouTube censorship. Whenever I make a video about like something controversial, I'm just gonna say, we have to talk about the Goron's secret crop or something. Maybe it'll work. I don't know. Anyway. We gotta keep the Song of Time useful for more than one moment of the game for some reason. Oh, yay. Fucking floor tiles. You had to bring these guys back. Honestly, in 3D, they're even more pathetic than they were in 2D. But they still take an annoyingly long amount of time. Oh, and likes. Don't get close to them, just destroy them with the bow. Likes will eat your shield or your tunic. And if you lose your tunic in here, you die! Especially if you don't kill it quickly. Then you'll need to buy a new one for 200 rupees. Which is not a pleasant time for anyone involved. Also, the hint about bombing walls that make a special sound is quite stupid, because in this game, every wall that can be bombed is pretty obvious that you can bomb it. Like, here. Like, did anyone not think this wall could be bombed? Now I think about it, maybe I should have gotten the bigger bomb bag. Anyway, you want to get both of these keys. or you'll be forced to backtrack. Yes, I know the Forest Temple did this exact same thing, but it's just more annoying to me here. Wow, I really am coming down with a cough. Yes, I get sick a lot. I don't know why I do. Yep, that's a cough. Hopefully my throat doesn't get too sore by the time I finish this. So yeah, we go through here before the bat gets us. And we climb up. Now we begin the long, arduous journey up. Because, like the Ice Palace, this dungeon has about 5 floors. Well, the Ice Palace, I think, had 7 floors, but each floor in this dungeon is much, much larger. And not to mention, pushing a block in the Ice Palace took about 2 seconds at most. So jump on this, and it becomes an elevator. There is a difference between the Fire Temple and the Ice Palace, though. In the Ice Palace, you were trying to get to the bottom. In this dungeon, you're trying to get to the top, which makes all the difference in the world. I'm not joking, it really does make a world of difference. The fire slugs. You hit them and their fire goes out. If you wait too long, their fire will turn back on. We're still not at the annoying parts of this dungeon. I hope I'm making that clear. It gets worse the further in you go. Especially if you don't remember where all the Gorons are. That can get very annoying. Oh yes, there's this fucking part. Alright. Oh good, yeah. Whenever I try to do that, it's usually never close enough. Bombs were definitely easier to time and toss in 2D. Like, I'm definitely going to give that to the 2D games. Pretty much all of them. Oh yay! This room is a fucking maze, which is annoying. I hate mazes. They're stupid. Yeah, that oh, yes. Like, I don't want to say it's impossible to get through here without taking a few knocks, but it can be quite difficult. But yeah, it's a maze where you have to basically go to certain points and find everything. Key, thank you. All you gotta say. When you are on fire, you can put it out by swinging your sword or by rolling forward. Sure. Okay, boulders. This is not how boulders work! My god. Let's see. I don't even know if there is something I'm supposed to be looking for over here. Oh, yep, there it is. Alright, blah, 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 I'll tell you a secret, blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, these things! They're so fun. The Goron's special crop. You keep saying it like it's innuendo, I'm going to keep using it like innuendo. We're gonna have to use the Goron's special crop. Fucking Cocoa Puffs! Now this room is fun, because you see if you fall off this narrow pathway, you get to go all the way back down there and need to recoup a lot of distance. You see, this dungeon really wants to utilize the 3D aspect of this game. And by doing so, instead of like in a 2D game where if you fell down the pit, you'd have to restart at the door you came in here with, in this game, you're going to actually literally fall down several stories and need to spend about 10 minutes getting back here. Yay! The map! My god. Look at how big this 5 fucking floors. So the simple solution to much of the annoyance in this dungeon is don't fall, but that's not always possible. The Goron's tunic will allow you to last against some fire or lava for a short time. Also, the enemy placement is starting to get much more dickish. They knew I was going exactly that route. They knew exactly what they were doing. Anyway, we're up here. If you fall down, guess what? You have to do that fire run again. Hey, 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 hey! Shut up! This, at the very least, will open up a shortcut. This dungeon has a couple of them, and I will give it that, but it's not much. Arrows won't hurt them. It looks like you have need of the Goron special crop. Actually, no, the bombs are not the way you want to fight them. Thank you for lying to me and making the game harder. The Scarecrow's biggest weakness and the most easy thing to use against them is the hookshot, not the bombs. Oh, yeah, this is perfect enemy placement. Absolutely perfect. Let's see. Can I make it? Yes, okay. Now, as you might imagine, adult Link can jump farther than young Link, so, it can take a little bit of getting used to. Before we go over there, though. Also, yes, the boulders can hit you if you're hanging onto the edge, and they'll knock you down to level 1, which is always a treat. Okay, so, we want to play the Scarecrow song here. And there he be. And he'll help you get to an elevator, which will just shoot you straight up. And if you want all the Skulltulas in this dungeon, you need to do this. Let me guess, that thing launches fire? Yeah, well, it's not doing it now. One of these rooms. Now, the wise designers thought that it would be very fun to give these rooms fucking pits that let you fall down further. I was very stupid in doing that, but now I guess is enough consequence to just make me have to go through a bunch of shit to get back up there. Or maybe not. Maybe I'll just say fuck it and ignore it. I think there was a chest with some rupees in there, which might have been helpful, but it's not very important at the moment. Every time. Every fucking time. When I say every fucking time, I mean every fucking time. Yeah, they take quite a bit of arrows to take out. But around here, it's probably your best bet. Now, it can be very hard to actually aim jumps this narrow in this game. So you need to make sure you're looking directly forward. Because the jump mechanics aren't built for this kind of shit. You jump forward in the direction... Yeah, you jump forward in the direction, exactly straight the direction you jump off. So you need to jump off the platform straight. But as you saw in the Bomb Shoot Bowling Alley, that's not exactly possible to line yourself up correctly. It's not always possible. Unless you go into first-person mode. I will give the fucking elevator one more shot. Yeah, I gotta bring Pierre back. Alright. So yeah, I'm going to say it. Tower-type dungeons do not work in Zelda. 3D or 2D. 3D or 2D. They're always some of the worst, most annoying dungeons in the game. Maybe that's just me because I'm alone in hating the Fire Temple, but... everyone hates the Ice Temple. Or the Ice Palace. Okay, you're the reason I came in here. So there's a chest on fire, and we gotta get to it. Now, as you've known, the fastest way around a racetrack is going in towards the center. That's probably the best way of doing it, but it's not exactly faster if you, I don't know, are prone to falling or touching the center. You know, like in the big Octo fight. And, yes, the fastest way through here is down. Aim it. Oh, fuck you! Fuck you! So, if you accidentally fall down here, this is the wrong direction. You lose your sense of direction, go the wrong way, have to go back across the bridge. End up in this room, where you have to do the fucking climbing up and pushing the block thing, because the block can't stay on the fucking fire, because I have no idea why. Oh, apparently it can, okay. Okay, then, even if it does go up and down, you still have to wait for it to go up and down. You end up here, and hopefully you were able to unlock this shortcut. If you didn't, and you fell down the first time you entered that room, because, I don't know, you did something stupid, you would have to do the timed bomb thing again. Like, I suppose if you played this dungeon perfectly, it would be far less annoying. But, I mean, if I screw up in the forest temple, like a room, I get badly beaten by one of the ghosts, I'm not forced to go back to the fucking beginning of the dungeon. Actually, I guess I'm wrong about that, with the wall masters and the floor masters and shit like that. You know what? How about this? We stop having that as a consequence in Zelda dungeons. Stop sending the player back to the beginning, because it's getting on my nerves. I know this isn't the first Zelda game to do it. It's the quote-unquote Zelda tradition. But it's a bad tradition, and it's annoying and stupid. So in here, we have, oh yeah, this room is fun. I don't care, Navi. I'll figure it out. Okay, you know what's worse than mazes? Mazes where you can't fucking see the walls until you run into them. Those are always a fun time. This is the compass. Yay for the compass. Fucking hell. Oh, look, it's a door! Because why not? This dungeon needs a few more fuck yous. It's a door! I mean, like, you could just, you know, walk slow near them. Well, you could, except for the fact that there are boulders and there are bats everywhere. And the longer you stay in a room, the more likely you are to die in a room. I mean, I'm glad I have 3 fairies, because if I didn't, I'd be very close to the end. And guess what? If I died, I'd have to start all the way back at the beginning and need to climb up this stupid piece of shit again. And then not die in the location where I died. We'll worry about that one later. Okay, This part's my favorite part. You have to navigate to the switch through an invisible maze. Hit the switch. Navigate through the invisible maze to the end. Before the time runs out. Savor the few hearts you get. There should really be a fairy in one of these jars. Then you go through this door and get fucked. It's very rare that this door doesn't trick somebody. Okay, scarecrow dancers. Use the hook shot. Look at this. No bombs necessary. Arrows work absolutely fine. You need... The sword doesn't work on this guy. Arrows don't work on this guy. You need to use bombs. No, you need to... fuck off. And yes, this is the enemy that it was referring to. I wonder, how would the Deku Nuts help me here? They wouldn't. Okay. Occasionally he'll change color. I don't know what that does. It's annoying to run out of arrows, but it happens. Hook shot will bring him closer. And then he explodes because, you know, this dungeon needs more things blowing up in your face. Another one of these stupid things. Come on! I hate doing this. And yes, I think this is another section where you need to drop the bomb. Maybe not. Maybe you can barely make it. Guess what? Another one of these rooms. You fall in the center, you go bye-bye, and need to climb all the way back up. Gotta go through the fire maze again. Gotta... Oh, so these bats, they like to knock you down in the center. Also, to get this one, you need to stay in the center. And it's very, very easy to just fall. So my advice is, kill the bats first. I cannot tell you how many times I have fallen off the side here. Because these walking controls are not built for precision. Precision in 3D platformers is extremely hard to do. Oh, thank you. Arrows. At least that's something, I guess. Like, I mean, I can constantly orient myself like this if I really have to get through here, but guess what? This switch is timed! You need to get up, you need to get up there quickly, and you need to do it on the stairs. It's a little bit easy to fall off. And you saw, even on the center stairs, it was starting to click quite quickly. This is the Megaton Hammer. It's the most useless item in the game. After this dungeon, you will use it fighting Shadow Link, and then you will never use it again. Actually, that's not true. It will let you get out of the crater easier, and then after you fight Shadow Link, you'll never use it again. It is pointless. And it is one of the worst Zelda items. I mean, yeah, sure, it does more damage than the sword, not the big Goron sword, but it's hard and unwieldy to use. Go. And we're, here. Okay. You want to hammer that. That will, give us access to the boss. This switch looks rusted. And you know what? If other dungeons had rusty switches, the hammer would be useful. But no. Like, in A Link to the Past, the hammer was fucking awesome, and it was constantly in use. Here, it's just... fuck it, we needed to have some kind of item in the dungeon. Did I get all the Skulltulas? Who cares? Oh yeah, if you don't get all the Skulltulas in here, good luck finding them. Like, good luck with that, buddy. The one thing that this dungeon does do right is that, once again, the boss is very near the entrance. Although the thanks I feel for that is quite minimized because the dungeon is very spread out. Don't you have anything stronger? And yes, I know talking to the Gorons is optional, but why not? So we have a key. Are there any chests anywhere else? No. No, except for on the first floor. Good. So we go down here. The fastest method of travel. And it's polite of these keys to wait till the statues disappear. I seriously do not know why this particular dungeon has, you know, a dungeon, a boss key. I guess dungeon number 2 would be quite weird to get rid of the pattern, but... I mean... It's just awkward that Darunia went through a locked door and then had the courtesy to lock it behind him. I mean, yeah, I get it, video games, but the quote-unquote video games excuse is, wearing a bit thin. Oh my god, this is so threatening. Like I said, likes in this game are devastating, and they look fucking disturbing. I will give them that. They look like a Silent Hill monster with their pulsating flesh. I don't know if they wanted to make the likes look so incredibly terrifying, but they certainly did. Oh, yay, it's... Oh, I got an idea. Where are you going, buddy? The hammer is too slow to be usable as a weapon. I mean, I can get lucky and hope he runs into it. Look at it's shit accuracy. I can't control where he decides to swing it. How do you give a melee weapon shit accuracy? I don't get it. I'll be right back. Come on. I don't know how much damage it's even doing. Like, this would have to do at least 3 times the damage of the sword to be worth it. Apparently it's stronger than the bombs. Still, this fight's much easier with arrows. So glad I got that upgraded quiver before coming here. But yeah, the game told me to use bombs in this particular fight. I'm not using them, and I think I'm having an easier time than I would if I had bombs. Like, I mean, does this look like it would be easier to hit them with bombs? Oh, thank you. Arrows. What could this be? Oh, thank you. And we get the boss's key, which is... I don't know, it's redundant. Like, that's all this little loop is for. I'll be right back. I guess by a few minutes I meant a few hours. Yeah, that delay took longer than expected. Anyway, let's take care of Volvagia. Now, aesthetically, Volvagia Volvegia, whatever you pronounce it, is probably my favorite boss. It looks cooler than any other boss in the game. And I just love this design, and not so much the arena. The arena's whatever. But just this Japanese Chinese dragon that's looks like it's just made of magma. And how it moves and stuff like that. It looks quite impressive. However, from a design perspective, this is not a good boss fight. It's Landmola. The thing comes out of the thing, and you hit it, and like, it's not exactly Landmola, but it pops out, you avoid the rocks, and you wait for it to pop out again and hit it. It's the same basic pieces. I mean, it's a little bit different, but emphasis on a little bit. Also, it's pathetically easy. Play whack-a-mole and then just go wherever. But yeah, every single boss in this game so far has reminded me a little bit too much of a boss fight from a previous Zelda game. Also, once again, you need to use the dungeon item to blah 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 blah. He's not hitting me. I'm standing still. What is it with the Death Mountain bosses where you just stay fucking still? Also, occasionally he'll do this whack-a-mole shit. I have fairies. Oh, that's right. It looks like the hammer isn't doing anything. Okay, yes, good. The hammer actually does do damage to it. And there he goes. What is it? It's the boss of the Fire Temple, revived by the Evil King. I don't know its weak point. Yeah, Navi will give you information about the enemies, but, the boss were essentially point blank told its weakness. Navi doesn't know its weakness. You gonna do anything, or are we just gonna waltz? One, two. Back up. It's hammer time! I hate how you can only hit this guy once. I get that the alternative is making the fight last like the Goma's fight, but I prefer that to this. Once again, I should never feel this comfortable standing still in a boss fight. Where you be? Oh yeah, if you don't hit him, he does the stupid fucking fly thing. This boss takes too long. Plain and simple. Come on! Die already! Oh, it's... Like, I mean, are these blocks just falling randomly or whatever? I mean, if the lava pits actually did do some damage to you, it would make some challenge here. Oh, finally. But no, like, it's just another pathetically easy fight. Like, Phantom Ganon, I could see you dying to, but not this guy. Unless you accidentally, I don't know, fall off the edge. I don't think this boss has ever killed me once. It's probably the easiest of the adult fights. And give me the tart. And then we have a kaboom. Big kaboom. Yes, I am recording. Okay. Chamber of the Sages. Is Darunia. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate what you did. Blah, blah, blah. I, the wild Darunia, turned out to be the great sage of fire. Isn't that funny? I don't know how that's funny. If it wasn't you, who else would it be? Yay, thank you! This does absolutely nothing. But I'll be sure to treasure it. Okay, don't forget, now you and I are true brothers. Sure. Oh yeah, Death Mountain Crater. But yeah, that was the Fire Temple. Pathetic boss, useless weapon, annoying, back and forth, fall all the time, dickish enemy placement, annoying false doors. Yeah, you have to hit each of these twice. But you know it would be very, very fun? If I didn't have to use the hammer and the bombs could blow up these rocks instead. It's not like the water temple is blocked off from... I think the only reason that you can do the water temple before the fire temple is to force you to do the fire temple first would mean that they would have to make the hammer useful outside of a dungeon. And they didn't want to do that. Although this is a fairy you really don't want to miss. Double magic power. This is going to be very useful going forward. I don't know what Link is holding above his head, but whatever. When battle has made you weary, please come back to see me, blah, blah, blah. Like, why do the Great Fairies cackle like witches? Like, I'm not the only one who notices that. Like, did they try to make them, like, creepy? Was that an active thing that they did? Okay, now that we're up here, yeah, okay. We can get that extra piece of heart now. Provided we don't die. Alright. I'm pretty sure starting at the Temple of Time is faster. We need to get everyone's favorite item, the iron boots. Which, yeah, they'll be fun. Once again, I must take care of something. Okay. Now we need to go to Zora's place. And yes, I know that it's very, very close. I don't care. I want to ride the horse. This is faster anyway, and I'm sick and tired of taking so long to get across this fucking field. And we're back at Zora's River. Octorok! Yay! Yes, we are recording. I'm sorry that I have to keep reminding myself like that. But yeah, I have had sessions where I forgot to press the start button, and it was annoying talking for hours and it meaning absolutely nothing. Okay. Welcome to Zora's domain. It's become quite the winter wonderland. Ganon has frozen everything. Oh no. Oh yes, this is one of the few places in the game where we're going to be dealing with the Ice Keys. Oh, yay. My favorite enemy of the game. But first, let's go to the other Great Fairy. Okay, I guess you also access this Great Fairy with the fucking hammer. It has very, very minor usage. Hello? Says... What? Okay, I guess I need to use the silver gauntlets or whatever. Okay, no. You just use a bomb. Okay. Yes, whatever. Fuck you, hammer. We just can't make the hammer useful in any situation whatsoever. Now you give me one of the other two spells. Welcome, Link. I am the Great Fairy of Magic. I will give you a magic spell. Please take it. Alright, which one are we talking here? I rarely use any of the spells besides Din's Fire. So, let's see what we got. Farrow's Wind. It's a magic warp you can use with C. Warp when you are in danger. You will teleport to the warp point. When you first use the magic, you will create a warp point. When you use the magic again, you can either dispel the warp point you created last time or warp to that point. You know what? This makes the water temple a lot easier, don't you think? Maybe there's a reason that this is here before you get into the ice temple. Just a suggestion. But let's talk about the ice cavern before we get into the water temple. The ice cavern is such a small dungeon that is basically non-existent. Like when I said there was 3 dungeons we could do right now, there was actually 4. The ice dungeon, and it's so small and non-existent that I didn't even consider it. Getting into the dungeon is harder than going through the dungeon. Which is better than the last game's ice level, I guess. Actually, no, Link's Awakening was the last game, and that did not have an ice level. But yeah, it's better than A Link to the Past ice dungeon. Go across here. And yes, you do need to platform across this. Like, technically speaking, I don't think the Iron Boots are mandatory for beating the game. Like, on a very, very technical level. Now, I do love the music here. You know, if we get to hear it. So, getting frozen in Ocarina of Time is annoying as fuck. You can't move, and while you are frozen, you're continually losing health. It's just annoying. There's no other way to put it. Like, it would be fine if I was just stuck in place, but while I'm stuck in place, rapidly losing health. That's no fun. That's snow fun. Here's Skulltulas. Alright, goodbye, Hammer. You served us well for 5 minutes. This is the last one, right? Yeah. These dungeons are going to get more and more annoying, I can tell. Yeah, I think they're called freeze robes. I tend to avoid them whenever possible. Yeah, here are our friends, the Ice Keys. The Ice Keys are no bueno. Why does getting frozen have to be so punishing? Now, I would recommend doing the pose in the field before coming here. It makes things a little bit easier. It's not mandatory, and I'm not doing the pose because it takes way too much time, and finding the pose is a little bit finicky. It doesn't seem natural. Maybe you can use it for something. You know, this entire cave doesn't seem quite natural. Just putting it out there. It seems very artificially made, like somebody designed it. And unlike the fire keys, the ice keys don't lose their ability if they fly onto you. So you take the blue fire to here. Now there are some things outside of the dungeon that require blue fire, getting into the Zora's shop and unfreezing the king. You can buy the blue flames at any potion shop. Which I'd recommend you to do at this point, considering there's like nothing else to buy in the game. There may be one or two other things. So don't feel like you need to bring a bunch of fire everywhere. Ice levels are usually terrible in my opinion, but they almost always have very good music. It's a strange combination. Like I said, this one's just bland and boring. Also, sometimes that happens. That's what's supposed to happen. Please lead to another torch. Excellent. Alright, and here's probably just a dungeon item, because I believe this place also has a compass and a map. Yep. The compass really shouldn't have that kind of fanfare. It really shouldn't. Yes, it's better than previous games, but it's still a fucking compass. And nobody really wants it. Seriously, who the hell wants the compass over the map? Or the dungeon item? Okay, where are you? There you are. Okay. There you are. Alright, fill us up on the magic fire and we'll be good. Yeah. These extra corridors and stuff, they could be a little bit hard to see. And this is probably not going to melt the ice, is it? No, it's not. Yeah, the cold fire and the warm ice kind of deal, it doesn't really appeal to me as a puzzle. I hate needing to come back to previous rooms and just filling with. And like I said, it could be, or like you saw, it could be a little bit finicky to actually melt the fucking ice. And it's very annoying when you, like, have this effect when you're trying to unfreeze King Zora and the shop, especially the shop. Oh, yay, this room. 2 bats with 1 arrow. Excellent. Now, I can never figure out the fastest way of dealing with this one. Skulltulas are quite hard to ignore. Come on. No. God damn it. Could have used those arrows. Come on. There we go. I really do wish it told you how many Skulltulas you picked up every single time you picked one up. It would be very useful to just say you've gotten 20 or 50 or whatever. This is your 20th skull. No, no! The bat... Did that throw me back to the beginning of the whole dungeon? It did? What the fuck? It threw me back to the beginning of the dungeon. My god, do not fall down there. Jeez. At least the ice is still melted. Okay, you're never going to be able to hit these guys without L targeting. You know, it would be bad enough if they just took, you know, a full heart of damage. But no, it's got to take, like, 5 seconds for them to do it. It's obnoxious, is all I'm saying. And like I said before, I do not remember the fastest way of completing this puzzle. So you basically just throw it randomly and hope it gets somewhere. You know, without falling off. Okay, maybe I do remember the fastest way of completing this. I don't know. Luckily, this room does not have a time limit, which they could have been dickish enough to add. And every single time that you launch it off the edge like that, it'll just respawn here. And we'll melt the final one. Honestly, in case I screw up again, let's use Furor. I really should make better use of this. But for now... Okay. Push it that way. That was close. Push Push it that way. Push it that way. That way. And, I made through. Thank you. Luckily, this is like the only time we'll have to deal with enemies that freeze you to near the end of the game. Let's see. Please let me through. Melt the ice like you're supposed to. There we go. And here we have the boss of this area, just those typical stupid Lizzlefoes. Not Lizzlefoes. Not Din's Fire. Snow Wolfos. One hit. And the iron boots. Everyone's favorite item. Hello, Sheik. We meet again, Link. If you came here to meet the Zoras, you wasted your time. This is all there is. With one exception, the Zoras are now sealed under this thick ice sheet. I managed to rescue the princess from under the ice, but she left to head for the water temple. This ice is created by an evil curse. The monster in the water temple is the source of the curse. Unless you shut up the source, the ice will never melt. If you have courage enough to confront the danger and save the Zoras, I will teach you the melody that leads to the temple. Like a river's flow, it never ends. A childish mind will turn into a noble ambition. Young love will become deep affection. You know, that's not always the case, right? Young love can turn in the wrong direction, and childish minds may never develop. I will say this. The Serenade of Water does not get enough love. It's a fantastic song for how short it is. It doesn't beat the Prelude of Light, but it's probably my second favorite of the temple songs. You have learned the Serenade of Water. Link, I'll see you again. Okay, so the iron boots. Every time you want to use them, you need to go into your inventory, put them on, and then you might want to take them off because you move slow. And underwater, the only item Link can use is his hookshot. Why? I don't know. Apparently the mechanism of a hookshot works absolutely fine underwater. When it's, in reality, it seems to be the item that would work the least underwater. Like, really think about it. Yeah, you have to push a button, I'm guessing, to make the thing go faster, but shit like that doesn't seem to work underwater. Alright, there's a heart piece. Here's another thing that annoys a lot of people. It takes a long time to get to the bottom of a lake. I have no idea what the fuck they were thinking of in Zelda or Ocarina of Time swimming controls here, or the lack thereof. The in-game reason they have towards all this is that Hylians naturally float. You know, like people naturally float. Hylians must be as buoyant as helium balloons if they legitimately cannot stay underwater for more than 6 seconds without being tossed up. Like, I have no idea why they couldn't just give Link swimming controls. Now we need to get the Zora's Tunic. The Zora's Tunic is pretty much optional, but it's one of those things that are not really optional. I mean, you can beat the game without it if you're feeling daring. Please melt him. Please be close enough to melt him. Thank you. Oh yeah, he won't talk to you unless you're on the fucking pedestal. Oh, I've come back to life. Was it you who saved me? Don't be nervous. It looks like you had a hard time breathing underwater. As an expression of my gratitude, I grant you this tunic. With this, you won't choke underwater. Yep, and this we might be wearing for the rest of the game. Which, switching tunics is a bit of an annoyance, I guess. Actually, we should probably go back to the forest and load up our bottles with fairies. The Water Temple is another temple where we probably do not want to die. Here we go. God. I have no idea why Moplin's got such a ginormous upgrade. I'm glad they're only in this one location because these guys are just fucking annoying. Alright. And we are good. Let's see, we're gonna need the hook shot, this, and why not? Oh yeah, I need the ocarina. So simple to remember and play, too. The only song in the game that's only 5 notes. And I think it's the only warping song you don't learn at its location. Alright, but so we're here. I would recommend completing the fishing minigame and getting the golden scale, but before doing this, but I don't want to play the fishing minigame. It'll eliminate some of the use of the iron boots. So hookshot this. Now, the water temple. Everyone hates the water temple. However, people tend to hate it for one of the reasons that I do respect it. It is the only dungeon in this game, barring the Great Deku Tree, that actively requires you to think in 3 dimensions. you need to be able to understand what's above and below you. It truly does utilize the 3D of this game. And it's something that can't really be replicated in 2D. So, you can't do much up here, so you immediately go down. The iron boots are stupid, but I'm not going to pin the dungeon itself for this. I mean, if going back and forth between item switching is instantly what kills a Zelda dungeon, then every single dungeon in Link's Awakening would be considered bad. And maybe that's why this particular aspect never truly bugged me, because I have played Link's Awakening quite a bit, and I was pretty much used to going back and forth between item usage. Yeah, see, even just taking one wrong turn, look at how many times I've had to use the iron boots already. And it's Ruto. Link. Yeah, you insane person. Fish. My father, but... Your father's fine. This is a request from me. That won't... Oh, so I can just leave then, okay? Okay. Requiring to play Zelda's Lullaby to raise and lower the water is stupid. It should have just been a switch. Because you don't really need the Ocarina on your inventory. It's just a waste of time. But yeah, the first part of the dungeon's quite straightforward, as long as you remember that crack in the wall there. That's a crack that can easily screw you up. The enemy selection is quite annoying. Unlike the Fire Temple, the enemies here can be exceptionally annoying. Especially the fucking clams. Like, I'm not even gonna debate. The clams are one of the worst enemies in the game. But you get the map already. Isn't that so very, very helpful? This one is 4 floors. I have no idea why they count... Wait, what? Oh, fucking hell!